Here's a presentation of Chapter 9 in our book, which covers the conservative counter-revolution of Reagan and George H.W. Bush. I'd like to do a brief highlight of the presidencies of the time period covered in this chapter, since the administrations present are a big driving force of a time period. Reagan's presidency lasted from 1980 to 1988, and here are a couple ways that his presidency and administration impacted social work. He believed that social programs hadn't solved poverty. His administration did not use social programs to aid the poor. He also didn't believe that social spending led to economic growth, so little of that was done during his administration. And his administration didn't offer much support for federal civil rights. Some of the things that Reagan's administration focused on were lowering taxes, increasing national defense, and reducing social spending. For lowering taxes, the administration put out the 1981 Economic Recovery Tax Act and the 1986 Tax Reform. The administration focused on increasing defense, likely because of the Cold War and the threat that the USSR had at the time. And then for social spending, 57 social programs were eliminated and folded into 7 block grants. The 1983 Social Security amendments increased retirement age and reduced some retirement benefits. And the Stewart-McKinney Homeless Assistance Act of 1986 focused on the construction of homeless shelters. Some of the factors present during Reagan's presidency were the declining strength of Democrats, opposition to affirmative action, which is actions and policies enacted to help discriminated populations, the shift of population to the suburbs, maturing of the baby boom generation, and again the Cold War. George H.W. Bush's administration lasted 1 term. During his administration, defense was still a priority, even after the Cold War ended. There was a modest tax increase. There was minimal increase on social spending because Bush had a very conservative way of doing things. There was the Civil Rights Act of 1991, which was an anti-discrimination act, and the Rodney King case, which forced Bush to provide allocation for inner-city programs. The overall impact during the Reagan administration was tax reduction, the tightening of interest rates, which led to a record period of peacetime economic growth, and the Bush administration enacted the Americans with Disabilities Act, which helped to support Americans with various disabilities, including AIDS and elderly populations. The Clean Air Act, which is a big environmental policy that the administration put forth. And a big aspect of the Bush administration was the conservative approach to dealing with things. The Bush administration did not like rapid or radical change, which affected a lot of what they did. Over the span of both presidencies, the economic situation for the poor worsened. The Reagan administration had a deficit of $50 billion per year, which was mainly increased due to military spending, so that declined after the Soviet collapse. And Bush had a $352 billion deficit by 1992. After both administrations, there was a $4.5 trillion federal debt, and the real value of Americans' paychecks declined during this period.